We're going back to the 80s again, not the blockbusters, not the franchise hits. It's about the films that slipped through, the ones that deserved more, and still hold up. By the end of this list, you'll have 10 new reasons to love the decade. No CGI, no bloat, just great films you probably missed. Let's start with number 10, and give these hidden classics a second chance. Seems Like Old Times, 1980. Clever and packed with charm. Goldie Hawn's world tumbles when her ex, fresh out of prison, shows up at her front door. Neil Simon wrote the screenplay in weeks, aiming for screwball energy. Chevy Chase and Charles Grodin square off, for the same couch and the same woman. The dinner party meltdown? Pure chaos. Glasses crash, secrets spill, every punchline lands. Shot on location in Los Angeles with real houses and real neighbors. The film cost $12 million and made about $35 million. Modest, but not enough to stand out. The dinner scene was filmed in one long take. No edits, no safety net, forcing the actors to keep the pace tight. It opened alongside bigger comedies, Caddyshack and Airplane, and never got the cult love those films did. But everything here holds up, from the blocking to the pacing to the way it stacks tension. You don't get filler, you don't get fluff, just screwball structure done by pros. If you skipped it or never heard of it, now's the time. It's one of the cleanest rom-coms of the decade. Sharp, tight, and worth revisiting. Lucas, 1986. Bigger teen hits grabbed the headlines in 86. Pretty in Pink, Ferris Bueller, Stand By Me. This one slipped past. You follow Lucas Bly, a pint-sized honors kid who digs insects and wears a football helmet 2 sizes too big. He falls for the new girl, learns the hard math of popularity, and still finds room to cheer. Corey Haim gives the role nerve and honesty. He rewrote chunks of his own dialogue, the stammer, the bursts of confidence, all his. Winona Ryder steps on screen for the first time. The spark is already there. Shot around Glenbard West High outside Chicago. Real lockers, real bleachers. Budget under $10 million. Gross 17. Respectable, but buried by louder trailers. The script keeps scale small, hallway whispers, late summer cicadas, one brutal football hit. Humor and heartbreak trade possessions without melodrama. Director David Seltzer holds the camera low so the world towers over Lucas. What you may miss, Charlie Sheen plays the quiet jock who actually listens. The marching band needle drop at the end uses an unheard Cheap Trick demo. Fans still hunt for it. No sequel, no reboot, just a lean 100-minute story about courage that doesn't look like courage. If your 80s shelf feels thin on sincerity, start here. Watch, let it grow. The Year My Voice Broke, 1987. You follow Danny Emmett, a teenager in 1960s rural Australia, as hope and insecurity play across his face, and watch his first love, Phyllis, slip away. Directed by John Duigan, co-written with Roger Vaughan Carr, it won 5 Australian Film Institute awards, including Best Film and Best Director. It premiered at the Melbourne Film Festival in '87 and screened in competition at Cannes, but never secured US distribution. Noah Taylor is fragile and exact. Loen Carmen, lifted from a local play, holds her own as Phyllis. Shot on location in Victoria with under $3 million, it used real farms, local extras, and natural light, creative solutions everywhere. Jeff Burton's cinematography relies on available light at dawn and dusk, capturing the landscape like memory itself. Duigan based the story on his teenage diaries, giving it a personal precision you rarely see. Its 1991 sequel, Flirting, grabbed more attention at Cannes, so some viewers assumed it came first. This cuts deeper than most coming-of-age dramas. It doesn't just look back, it stays with you long after. Personally, it's one of the most honest films I've ever seen about growing up and letting go. Time of the Gypsies, 1988. This is a really interesting one. You've never seen anything like it. You see magic and grit collide. A young Romani boy with telekinetic powers gets pulled into crime. Shot in Yugoslavia with real Romani communities participating, the film won Cannes Best Director for Emir Kusturica. You might miss how Kusturica cast non-professionals, giving every face and every street authenticity. The floating wedding sequence, unforgettable, sculpts mysticism against dirt roads and shabby houses. No models, no stunts, just real people, lifting a girl into the air with thread and faith. The score, a mix of traditional songs and elephant grass flutes, creates a rhythm that feels like breath or prayer. When it opened in 1988, it barely saw a US screen. Distributors didn't know where to place it. Not pure drama, not pure fantasy. But this hybrid is its strength. It opens a window into a life most films ignore. You watch and feel the joy, the despair, the power, and the pain. Time of the Gypsies is not easy viewing, but it's rare. And when you find it, you'll know why it matters. If these hidden 80s gems are lighting up your watch list, smash that like button and subscribe for more. Running Scared, 1986. Two detectives close to retirement get dragged back in for one last case. That's the setup. But what makes this one work is the rhythm, tight pacing, smart casting, and zero filler. Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines break the mold for buddy cop leads. They're relaxed, funny, without forcing it. And when things get serious, they handle it without turning into cliches. Director Peter Hyams also served as cinematographer, and it shows. The film looks clean. Sharp lighting, smooth camera moves, no wasted motion. A chase sequence on the elevated train track still lands. Fast, grounded, and well cut. It pulled in $38 million at the box office. Enough to break even, but not enough to earn a follow-up. Sandwiched between 48 Hours and Lethal Weapon, it got overlooked. No sequel, no franchise, just a great standalone film that slipped under the radar. There's no reinventing here. It's just done right. Everything plays light, quick, but real, like two people who've actually worked together for years. If you missed it, fix that. If you saw it and forgot it, go back. It's one of the tightest, cleanest action comedies of the decade. No bloat, no noise, just solid filmmaking. Fitzcarraldo, 1982. You track a man who wants an opera house in the Amazon. To pay for it, he drags a steamship over a mountain. No models, no tricks. They did it for real. Werner Herzog filmed for 4 years. Equipment failed, injuries happened. Jason Robards shot 40%, caught dysentery, and was replaced. Mick Jagger quit to tour. Klaus Kinski stepped in, volatile, unpredictable. A local chief even offered to kill Kinski for Herzog. The boat weighed 320 tons. Men hauled it with ropes and logs, uphill through mud and heat. A smaller boat wrecked in real rapids, crew barely escaped. No stunt teams, no safety nets. Herzog kept a pistol in case Kinski attacked. Dialogue was shot twice in English and German, adding cost. The budget climbed from $2 to $12 million. Production nearly folded more than once. Every frame stays practical. You feel the cost. Released in 1982, Herzog took Best Director at Cannes, yet box office returns stayed low. Too long, too strange for most viewers. Brad Pitt lists this among his favorite films, citing its raw ambition. A companion doc, Burden of Dreams, shows the same ordeal from the outside. Watch that after the feature to see how close it came to collapse. Fitzcarraldo isn't comfort, it's endurance. If you respect films that finish the impossible, start here. 2.5 hours, no skips, all consequence. True Stories, 1986. You pull it up expecting a typical musical, but this one moves at its own pace. A small Texas town prepares for its 150th anniversary. No villain, no twist, just everyday people doing everyday things. David Byrne narrates in a flat tone, and somehow it works. Shot on location in Texas, locals mixed with pros. The talking heads wrote the soundtrack alongside the script. Characters lip-sync the songs like they've always belonged to them. No setup, no commentary. John Goodman anchors the film. He's sincere, a little lost, but never played for laughs. Everything else, pyramid hats, paper towel conspiracies, fashion shows, passes without explanation. Byrne never breaks tone. He doesn't tell you how to feel. The music feels sincere. The production design captures the clean, consumer logic of 1980s America. Matching houses, blank storefronts, empty optimism. When it opened in '86, critics called it odd and directionless. No one knew what to do with it. It barely made a dent. But now, it feels like a film made for this moment. Dry humor, quiet confidence, strange sincerity that sneaks up on you. I didn't expect much the first time, but it stayed in my head. Then it stayed in my gut. This one doesn't fade, it lingers. Angel Heart, 1987. You hear a ceiling fan before anything else. Private Eye Harry Angel takes a missing singer job in 1955 New York that pulls him deep into New Orleans voodoo, based on William Yortzberg's novel, Falling Angel, shot on real Lower East Side streets and New Orleans locations. Budget, $18 million. Originally rated X, Alan Parker cut 10 seconds to get an R, but major chains still refused to screen it. Religious groups called it blasphemous. Parker had just come off prestige dramas like Birdie and Midnight Express. This was a shift. Controlled, deliberate, and darker. Mickey Rourke plays Angel like a man on borrowed time. De Niro filmed for 4 days, grew long fingernails, and never spoke to Rourke off camera, keeping the tension sharp. Lisa Bonet's scene used actual chicken parts. It sparked outrage and nearly derailed her career. Michael Saracen shot using only practical lighting. Opened 1 week before Lethal Weapon. Earned $17.2 million. Quiet return, loud exit, too slow for horror, too strange for noir. Now it cuts cleaner. The final reveal doesn't shock. It confirms what was there all along. This isn't cult. It's cold-blooded. Misunderstood on release, airtight in hindsight. You don't revisit Angel Heart for thrills. You revisit it because it never really let go. Jean de Florette, 1986. A sun-drenched tragedy, hiding under blue skies. You watch a city man inherit rural land, unknowing that his neighbors are sabotaging him. Directed by Claude Berry, adapted from Marcel Pagnol's novel, shot on location in Provence, real fields, villages, and wells. France's biggest box office hit of 1986, yet it saw only a handful of US screens. Gerard Depardieu is heartbreaking. He struggles with dizzying hope and slow-burn despair. Daniel Auteuil, dangerously quiet, watches him with calculated restraint. You may miss the 13 César nominations, including Best Film and Best Actor, or the fact that Barry shot the well scene in one long take. The well scene, slow cruelty done masterfully, feels like a puncture to the heart. Subtitles and patient pacing kept it from mainstream audiences. No explosions, no fast cuts, just rural treachery. And burning regret. Pair it with Manon of the Spring, it's the second half of the story. Both films were shot together, adapted from Marcel Pagnol's novels, and meant to be seen as one. If you skipped it because it looks old school, fix that. This film doesn't ask for attention, it demands it. Watch Jean de Florette and see how betrayal grows slowly, undetected, until it's too late. Prince of the City, 1981. You follow a cop who decides to turn informant and discovers that no one's clean. Based on a true story, this 3-hour epic tracks the cost of betrayal, every loyalty questioned, every friendship at risk. Directed by Sidney Lumet, after Network and Dog Day Afternoon. Treat Williams goes all in. You feel him unravel as pressure builds. The confession scene, slow, agonizing, a real gut punch. The script was so long that Lumet held a private screening for judges to decide what to trim before release. It opened to mixed reviews, too long for thriller fans, too heavy for crime drama audiences. The budget was $16 million, and it grossed just over $17 million domestic. But this is one of the best moral dramas of the 80s. It handles corruption without sensationalism. You may miss how Lumet uses tight framing, every cluttered office, every hallway, to mirror a man trapped by his own choices. If you missed it, fix that today. No franchise, no sequel, just a film that demands to be seen and remains uncomfortably relevant. Still hunting for overlooked classics? VintageVerse unearths the hidden heart of cinema, from neon-lit thrillers to quiet dramas. Hit subscribe now to keep exploring forgotten films, and ring the bell for our next deep dive. Thanks for watching. And remember, every masterpiece has a story waiting to be rediscovered.